Good day, ma'am. This is Jamalan T. Carbonello from Section B is OA1, reporting my summarization about the following topics, which is the biological, social, mental, and emotional self. So, in biological self, or in unfolding the biological self, in this topic, it tackles about how our physical appearance made and where it is being gets and where it is being get this appearance from our parents. From the word itself, biological self or bio, it talks about our life where it is being started, how we ended looking like this in the present, what are those things, what are those things that we're having right now that is being transmitted by our parents to us. And that's what we call heredity, the transmission of traits from parents to offspring. In this lesson, it tells us how we can identify the things that were alike in our parents or even in our siblings. What are those differences and likeness? There are two types to help us identify either through genotype or phenotype, which is in genotype. It can identify through blood if you or your parents is really related to. Um, While in the phenotype is you can identify by only in just observing his or physical appearance or physical expression of a particular trait. In this lesson also tackles about a particular maturation, a particular maturation of a certain individual for completing his or her own self to be called as fully grown individual living in this community or a society. In this lesson, it gives you the knowledge of identifying yourself within a particular community and what are those things that will help you the most in order to become who you really are today. Giving you the knowledge on how to become fully aware of yourself for who you really are, helping us not to become blind of other people's feelings, and most importantly, helping us or guiding us to control our curiosity and behavior in a particular things that will prevent us to do a unuseful or unnecessary actions, teaching us to become wiser that will help us avoid the consequences of our choice if we never think it very well. And one of those consequences is the early pregnancy that we all know that this early pregnancy is very rampant nowadays in our generation. These consequences that will be a hindrance in achieving your goals in life. And so, in order to achieve your physical well-being, we must respect for one's body, or should I say no to body shaming. Know your worth and respect other people's choice. Develops your maturity and thoughts. That will probably help you grow as a citizen in your community without being hurting other people, and always being guided by one's personal beliefs and core values. Know your boundaries and put always good from bad, and being a future oriented. Know your limitations and manage your time doing good things, for it should be have a good future ahead. As what like John Kabat-Zinn saying, mindfulness means being awake. It means knowing what you are doing. And for the topic unfolding the social self, this lesson tackles about how we act in our society as we socialize to other people, and how we are going to have a contribution with the particular community that we live in. There are three types of social factors that shapes you or me. The first one is the family. In other words, our parents. They are the one who really played a big role in fulfilling ourselves to become who we are today, because our parents is our first teachers who taught us every little things from early age up to now to have a good relationship, especially to our siblings or to other people. The second one is in school. Aside from our family, there there is a school who taught us the general academic environment that also help us, especially in growing our knowledge in particular place or things in life, help us know about our strengths and skills, and what are the things that we are capable with in order to enhance and grow it more. The last one is the community. the culture, beliefs, values, and practices. For me, this must also have a great impact on a particular individual because most of the time we value our culture beliefs, our culture beliefs, the values that taught by our great great grandmother or our mother, or even the practices that they taught, are always have to be followed. They are the one who influence us to respect it and do it in the first place. And there are called a bioecological system theory. This system shapes an individual sense of self. The first system was the microsystem, a system that individuals has direct contact with his or her family, peers, school, religious institutions. The second one is the mesosystem, the interconnections of microsystem affecting the individual. For example, the parent to teacher or parent to pair connections. The third one is the exosystem. It refers to the social setting has no direct interaction with but affects his or her behavior. For example, in work setting, he loses his job. The fourth one is the macro system. It includes socio-economic status. For example, our country, or the issues of ethnicity and social values. And for the last system, the chrono system, it focuses on the pattern of environmental events. Environmental, events. For example, is the college graduation. When we are in that particular situations or events, we know we know how to act differently in every different context and people interact with, knowing what we are in different condition. It's either we are the one who is in line of in the individualism, people who is or are individualistic, observe to be competitive and self-reliant, or it's either in a line of collectivistic, the people who prioritize interest to maintain healthy relationships, adaptive to other people, and cooperative in a group task. You must ask yourself to be more aware of everything, starting from asking who you really are as a member of the society or community, not minding what other people might say to you. Or ask yourself, what do others think about you, as you can fully aware of how others expect you to behave or to become. In this lesson, you will know who you are in a world of digital world. This lesson defines as the key, not just to know more about other people using social media, but also helping you to know, to learn, and to control yourself expressing what you need to express by realizing it first before doing or saying it. For you to maintain a good interaction between other people or even it is in digital world. This lesson help us to know our behaviors with or without the digital world. Who we really are in different worlds we lived in this lesson taught us on how we need to manage our behavior through online or without online. What we always have in mind is that always think before you click, because in that world or in the digital world, once you give in, you never take it back. So be a responsible online user. On the other side, there is the material world or the economic self. It determines ourselves in a material world. What are the classification of materials what that we want to get affecting our behaviors towards it. The material possession. These are the materials who help us in a way of communicating through digital world or learn through digital world. For example, of the material possessions is the laptops and cell phones. And the materials that what we want or what we need first is what we really need is for survival, like food, shelter to live in, and it is safety. While the ones are just like known as luxuries that we can say you or us we can live without having these things. And the difference between utility and significance is that utility concerned with how things serve to practical purposes, while significance concerned with the meaning assigned to the certain object. There are some people identifies themselves in the possessions of material things that indicates their status in society, and it is very true. And people can also tell whether the owner of that particular thing is a part of wealthy family or in or that particular person is in middle class. And this is was also true, especially now in our generations in this 21st century. But one thing for sure is that there is no rich who doesn't be needing money, and there's no poor who doesn't want to be free from struggles and stress. Just always keep in mind that you must keep on working, and there's always the right time for everything. And in unfolding the mental self is knowing your recognition, memory, and intelligence. Recognition, where you will know your capabilities that can empower to manage yourself. Being a person who is observable in your environment. Becoming or being a person who understands himself or herself achieves greater understanding not just for him or herself but also for other people. The memory, the faculty of the mind in which information is acquired and retained for later use. A place where the process of encoding, storing, and achieving information takes place. It can be function as sensory memory, the that allows information from the external environment perceived when the individual. For example, is touching or hearing something that like that hearing something from our environment like sense you can sense, or a short-term memory where information is temporarily stored or readily available state, or the long-term memory often permanent and allows for repeated retrievals across situations. Having this memory know how we people interacted to other people fastly and correctly only just by storing memories on it and bringing it back again. For example, when a particular person or our peers is asking us about a certain situation, like what happened before, we can actually give the information that they need by only bringing those memories back from the past. Knowing the intelligence and individual capacity for understanding, learning, planning, and problem solving with logic, creativity, and self awareness. Intelligence that will help you or us to have a capacity to plan and solve the particular problem of an individual or even ours, to solve it in proper way or in good way. In order to become a good member of society, you or we must have intelligence. Intelligence that will shine in every corner of your life, recovering you from the pain that you've experienced. Knowing how creative your mind, knowing how creative your intelligent are, can also help you gives life in yourself and so for other people. We as human being, every day we create memories, and together with that memories itself, there is a hope, knowledge, and learnings brought by it. That will probably helps us grow as a whole person or individual, helping us to become more critical, most importantly in decision making in life rather. Deep learning or surface learning is a chance for you or to us to grab and make it as an opportunity to help us become more credible in our family, community, or society. That we can do changes within ourselves, and for knowing how to control our emotions to make changes. How these changes gives you the impacts of hopes in order to become a person who you really want to be in the future or even today. And for the last lesson, which is the unfolding the emotional self. This lesson tackles about the different aspects of human emotions and reactions that are embedded in an individual's different emotional experiences. It also covers discussion on emotional intelligence and emotional regulation. We as human beings living in this world, it is normal to us when we feel unnecessary emotions because because it is normal, and we cannot change the fact that we are human who is capable of hurting someone or feel angry towards them. But for me, it is always a choice that can be avoided or prevent that coming out from our mouth, managing it to be fully aware of the threats coming from our environment where we live in. Emotion can help us grow as one of the society in a way of controlling and have the ability to manage our emotions. The difference between emotion and feelings is that emotion is the biological experience and response on a particular phenomena or circumstances, while the feelings is the interpretation or the subjective experience that frame the interpretation of emotion. Somehow, feelings is the thing which we interpret our emotion. It is the elaboration of our emotions to know more about ourselves, to know more about our acts and emotion towards people or things around us. What is the emotional intelligence? It is the capacity for recognizing our own feelings and those other people, for motivating ourselves, for managing our emotions effectively in ourselves and for others. It is a skills that can influence our ability to succeed in coping with environmental demands and pressure. It is the ability and skills in order to have a weapon in fighting for your dreams and struggles in life. These are the five components of emotional intelligence. The first one is the self awareness, a capacity to recognize and understand emotions and to have a sense of how one's actions, moods, and the emotions of others that take effect. Self-awareness that you can sense how a particular actions or moods or emotions can affect you or them. The second one is self-regulation. It involves the appropriate expression of emotion, including for being flexible, especially in coping with change and managing conflicts. The third one is the social skills. It refers to interacting well with other people. It is a skills where a certain person is getting along with his or her fellow people fastly without difficulties. A skill where help you becomes aware of other people of they feel towards a thing. Fourth is the empathy. It refers to being able to understand how other people feels towards a thing. You feel and understand what other people experiencing at the same time. And lastly, the intrinsic motivation, an individual's driven to meet personal needs and goals rather than being motivated by external rewards such as fame, money, and recognition. A certain motivation where a person is not into external rewards, but a motivation to get what you or me really wants to achieve, meet, or reach in life to be satisfied after reaching it. These five components helps you to become a positive person, especially when you or me is in a situation where we needs to become a person who is fully aware of everything and understands it, making those opportunities become success not only for ourselves but also for other people. Managing and regulating it as we in a stage of adolescence. Being in a stage of adolescence, this is the part where the development of the emotional growth and as long as our phases. This was also the beginning of taking risk on a particular behavior, having both positive and negative consequences after engaging on that behavior. In reducing or having anger or anxiety, we need to have or know how we control over our emotional state, and that is ability called emotional regulation. It is a way of how we hide or how we show our emotions towards others. It helps us in terms of filtering the most important pieces of information and can motivate to attend to it in a way of it wouldn't too stressful to us. In cognitive appraisal suppression, in this state, feelings are managed by using reasons and logics to appraise a situation. It is very helpful for us in order to allow our logical evaluation to make personal or subjective evaluation on a certain thing. While in cognitive suppression, it involves denial and masking a facial expression rather, to hide one's current emotional state. When we are in a situation, expressing our feelings towards a thing is not always have a positive outcome after, and so suppression is the option to hide those unnecessary behavior or feelings that can affect other certain things when it shows, helping us to hide it for everyone's joy and happiness. And the qualities that enable effective emotional regulation is the self-control, trustworthiness, conscientiousness, adaptability, innovation, and empathy. While in self-control, managing disruptive impulses, the trustworthiness is maintaining our standards of honesty and integrity, while in conscientiousness is taking the responsibility for one's performance on a certain thing, while in adaptability, an ability to handle change with flexibility, and in innovation, where you or me is being open to new ideas that will come in. And lastly, the empathy, the understanding of other people and putting yourself in their shoes in order for you to understand it. It is very important to know how we control, manage, and understand our emotions and feelings, and so also for other people, because we are human who is need to have other people perspective and observations towards us in order to know where we have to improve and change those behaviors, those unnecessary one, to become fully growth individual who is aware of every little things around us, and becoming a productive social citizens and empathic leaders in the future.